Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 1984 horror film Silent Night, Deadly Night. This was in the theaters for a week, panned critically, extremely controversial for the time, and was pulled after a week. So it's a cult classic, but it's not because no one talks about this film. You hear whispers of it here and there, but and you can't even buy it on Vudu. I had to rent it on Vudu. It was so strange. So it's a great concept, horrible execution. The best part of the entire film was in the toy store, because it's the 80s, early 80s. You have all of these Star Wars toys on the shelves, and I'm salivating, and I'm like, oh my god, still in the box, mint condition, hundreds and hundreds of dollars per set. So that was my takeaway from this film. Kid is terrified of Santa because his senile grandfather puts the fear of Santa in him. Santa punishes naughty kids, right? On the way home from this nursing home, tiny kid, 3-4 years old, a Santa holds up a convenience store and then holds up the kid Billy's parents' car, kills the father, molests the mom, kills the mom, and then him and his younger brother, who's an infant, get sent to an orphanage. The Mother Superior, crazy sister that she is, nun that she is, beats this kid, horrible corporal punishment, and makes him sit on a Santa's lap to face his fear, which only makes Billy punch Santa. Then we get a flash forward. Billy's now 18. He works at a toy store. He does stock, and he's now forced to be Santa for the toy store. And then he sees one of his coworkers sexually abuse one of his other coworkers. He goes on a killing spree, kills a bunch of people, and then he eventually winds his way back to kill Mother Superior at the orphanage, which he doesn't do because he's then shot to death. And then he says, "You're safe now, children. Santa's gone." And his younger brother, Ricky, who's now older, sees this, and he takes up the axe visually. He doesn't actually hold it. And he looks at the Mother Superior and he goes, "Naughty. The torch has been passed." It's a good concept, okay? It's a very good concept. It shows struggling of PTSD. It's what happens when you just snap, that you're abused for so long that you don't understand right from wrong, in a sense of, I shouldn't kill someone because there are consequences. So it was very interesting of a concept. I did enjoy the story, but the execution was terrible. The acting was so bad. It was just so slow. It was so drawn out. It was so fake. There were some cool special effects like the gunshot wounds, the stabbings, things like the blood stuff was good special effects. Everything else was just boring. What I also hated is that certain cameras, you can tell when a certain camera was being used just because, like, one was super grainy and it's in the same scene but a different angle and it's perfectly clear. And then you go back to the grainy camera of the upshot of this guy dangling from, whatever. And it drove me nuts. There was no consistency in the filming aspect of it. So that's the technicality of it. And there's this, Santa's watching, Santa's waiting song that just goes on repeat constantly and gets stuck in your head. I could have seen this as a nice, like American Horror Story kind of episode. Like in American Horror Stories, we were talking about that Christmas episode, which was god-awful. Great actors, but god-awful story. This would have been a good American Horror Story to portray. It reminded me a lot of Twisty the Clown, to be honest. Twisty's origin story, that he didn't really know he was doing bad. It was just how he was brought to be, kind of a thing. Even though Billy kind of knew he was doing bad, but in a sense, he thought, logically, this is what I'm supposed to do. Santa punishes naughty people. This is me punishing naughty people because I am now Santa. So it was a very Twisty the Clown kind of thing going. It was very Horror Story-esque, which I enjoyed, but I wish it was much better. And again, the highlight was watching the Jabba the Hutt playsets on the shelves of the early 80s for, what, Empire Strikes Back? No. Return of the Jedi. Yeah, it was Return of the Jedi. Yeah. That's all I got. On to the next Christmas movie. Here we go. Happy Christmas, everyone. Mucho mahalo.